We know one of the biggest obstacles facing many people in Charlotte remains finding affordable housing.
That's right. If you make rent payments or mortgage payments, you know how pricey this area can be. The city has made strides and continues to look for ways to build or remodel units and keep them affordable. Today, city leaders are working on updating the Housing Trust Fund. Our Mary Calkins is live in Uptown with more on this. Mary?
Alex, Mary, good morning to you both. Now, the Housing Trust Fund has been one of the city's most successful programs when it comes to generating more affordable places for people to live here in the area. Now, the program just celebrated its 20th anniversary last year. And according to the city, it has generated $218 million in affordable housing. Now, that is nearly 11,000 units, including nearly 3,700 for the lowest income and 888 shelter beds. The program has several facets. It provides tax incentives for developers, down payment assistance for eligible buyers, and even takes old motels and turns them into apartments. But of course, there are challenges, including the rising inflation and construction costs. Now, back in November, voters approved another $50 million housing bond. And today, the Housing Committee is meeting. They're going to be discussing some possible changes to this program, including potentially streamlining the application process and ways to buy up more land for future affordable housing projects. And of course, we will let you know what comes out of this meeting. But for now, reporting live in Uptown Charlotte, Mary Calkins, WBTV on your side.